Imagine being absolutely sure you watched a goofy 90s kids movie called Shazaam, a film where comedian Sinbad plays a bumbling genie granting wishes to two kids. You remember the DVD cover, Sinbad in purple clothes with a golden turban and big gold shoes, and even a scene where he zips around on a flying skateboard. For thousands of people, these memories are crystal clear. But here's the wild twist. No such movie exists. Not on IMDb, not in any studio archive, nowhere. You literally remember a movie that never happened. Welcome to one of the internet's strangest Mandela effects. The Mandela Effect is when many people share a vivid memory of something that isn't real. The term comes from people remembering Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, even though he actually lived until 2013 health. Psychologists explain this as a kind of collective false memory. As one neurologist puts it, memory is not necessarily a carbon copy of reality. In other words, our brains can easily mix up or invent details. And in the era of social media, a handful of rememberers can convince thousands of others. The strange case of Shazaam. In fact, Shazaam is now famous as a Mandela Effect example. As Very Well Mind notes, one of the most well-known examples of the Mandela Effect is the collective memory of a movie called Shazaam that starred Sinbad in the 1990s, yet no such movie exists. According to one Reddit thread, everyone who remembered Shazaam agrees on basic details. Sinbad wore purple-pink clothes with golden shoes and a turban. The kids found a magic lamp in an attic or cave. There were 3 wishes, the last to free the genie. Everyone even claims to have seen the VHS on store shelves or rented it from Blockbuster. Yet not a single videotape, poster, or studio credit has ever surfaced. Where did this phantom film come from? Internet sleuths and reporters jumped on the mystery around late 2016. A New Statesman article and a Reddit thread made Shazaam one of 2016's hottest movies, much to Sinbad's surprise. In a Milwaukee interview, Sinbad shrugged. People have been talking about it for years. They're determined to find this movie that never existed. He joked about the endless search. Where's your videotape at? Everybody's got these empty boxes. But why hasn't anyone produced a videotape or a scene or something? In other words, if the movie were real, someone would have filmed at least one scene or kept one copy. Yet after decades, the only evidence is our memories. Clues, confusion, how we got here. Experts point to a few culprits that could explain the confusion. Mix-up with Kazaam. The Shaquille Genie movie Kazaam came out in 1996, and many people conflate it with their vague memory of Sinbad as a genie health. Social contagion of false memory. Once one person mentions Shazaam online, others start remembering it too. Experts note we often recall what we expect to see, not what actually happened. Name and pop culture confusion. The genie name Shazaam is awfully close to DC's superhero Shazam, who says Shazam for magic. Also, kids' cartoons like Looney Tunes often get remembered wrong. Put together, these factors create a perfect storm. Experts explain false memories. Psychologists have studied memory errors for years. The Cleveland Clinic reports that false memories happen because our brains fill in gaps with biases and suggestions. We trust our perceptions more than we should. Even respected researchers like Elizabeth Loftus have shown that just subtly suggesting something can create a completely false memory. For example, wording questions differently can make people remember a childhood event that never happened. So, was Shazaam real? Probably not. But its impact is very real. It reminds us that memories are powerful but not always accurate. It shows us how the internet can amplify small ideas into massive shared beliefs. And most importantly, it proves that the line between reality and imagination is thinner than we think. Maybe the real magic isn't a genie in a lamp. Maybe it's the way our minds work, filling gaps, rewriting the past, and believing things just because they feel true. Sinbad speaks. Actually. Meanwhile, Sinbad himself has responded with bemused humor. In a 2017 interview, he said he was puzzled by the frenzy. "I couldn't even begin to explain this one." He laughed on Milwaukee.com. When told he should simply make the movie to satisfy fans, he quipped, "Yeah, I might just have to do it, or we're gonna lose some people." He admitted he only ever hosted a movie marathon looking a bit like a genie, and that the clothing colors do not match, what people describe in ShazaamReddit.com. Everyone is still waiting for the magical videotape, but Sinbad jokes it's probably a better idea to let this one go. People don't want to be wrong. I almost feel bad, like maybe I should do one so they can feel better about themselves. The takeaway: your mind is a trickster. By the end of the day, the shocking truth is that Shazaam is a collective hallucination. It never graced theaters or late-night VHS racks. We mix up similar stories, Shaq versus Sinbad, embellish details, and share them until they seem real. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss the next story that'll have you questioning reality and maybe even your childhood.